The world at the moment is full of bad news. If we're not careful, that bad news can start to consume us, and that's why landscape photography and getting out in nature is so important to me. It helps me find balance and calmness when the world seems to be falling apart at the seams. I started making these videos as a way of documenting some of the natural beauty that I see. I've spent years wanting to come to the Isle of Skye, but life always seemed to get in the way. But that all changed at the start of 2022 when I decided to take some time out of the corporate world. I've been very fortunate and have had a fantastic career so far, but I felt like something was missing, so I took a leap of faith to give myself time to do some of the things that I'd been putting off, and this trip to Skye is probably top of the list of the things that I'd been finding excuses as to why I couldn't do it. I know I'm very privileged to be able to take this time out, and to be honest I don't know how long it's going to last, but I do know I'm not going to waste it, and I will continue to document my journey in the hope of inspiring others to do the same. I'll never forget this trip to Skye. It's been one of the most soul-enriching experiences of my life. I hope you will enjoy part 2 as much as I've enjoyed making it. Wow, I think I would have just shown you the drone footage there. That was one of the best experiences I've ever had. Climbing up here in the dark, there was probably about 2-3 centimetres of snow at car park level, and then up here 8 or 9 centimetres, and potentially more in places where there was drifting. Met a few guys up here, I think they're up on the mound behind me somewhere. Also flying drones, so that was fun. We had a couple of Mavic Pro 2s in the air at the same time, flying around the pinnacles, which was cool. But wow, what a morning, what a privilege to be here. I'm up on what they call Photographer's Mound now. Absolutely beautiful spot up here. But the problem is that you've got is that the pinnacles kind of overlap, which is why I didn't take my earlier photos from there. What an incredible morning. I think I'm going to call it a day now and head down. There's some cloud rolling in. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's some cloud behind me rolling in. And it was challenging enough getting up here without any kind of snow or thick cloud. So absolutely spectacular morning. Literally can't believe it. I literally don't know what to say. It's just the best feeling is when you get the right conditions, the right place. You've made so much effort to get to somewhere like this place. Driven the best part of 650 miles over 2 days, and you're rewarded with this spectacle. It's just mind-blowing. Everything I ever wanted and more. So I've decided to come to the viewpoint for Kilt Rock and Myoke Falls, which is in Staffin, and there is a little bit of information which I had to get on video because my son is absolutely dinosaur mad, and this place is quite famous for having a large collection, an impressive collection of dinosaur remains, and they give you a little bit of information obviously on that board there, and then they give you some images of the types of dinosaur remains that they've got here, and I don't know if you can see that, but they're Celeophysis, Megalosaurus and Hadrosaurus, which is pretty cool. So I had to get that video because my son is dinosaur mad. So apparently this is one of the best places to see dolphins and whales in the UK. Apparently they get dolphins, minke whales and porpoises that are here, and that you can potentially see them all year round, so that's pretty cool. The waterfall itself and Kilt Rock, the waterfall's not that impressive because there's so many better waterfalls around here, and Kilt Rock, which is there, is pretty cool. It shows you all the different layers of rock, and it looks a bit like a kilt, is the theory behind it. But yeah, beautiful spot. Helps that it's nice and sunny today, so and good visibility around as well. So I'm gonna stay here for a bit, see if I can spot any whales or anything like that, and then head somewhere else. So I've been here about 15 minutes and didn't see any whales or dolphins, but didn't really expect to, if I'm honest. You'd have to be incredibly lucky in that time frame to see anything. Anyway, a few of the, not crowds, but a few other people have turned up now, and the sky is getting super dramatic, which is too inviting to go somewhere where I can make use of that. So I'm going to leave this spot now. It's worth a look. I mean, from a photographic perspective, it's probably not high on the list, to be honest, in terms of what you can photo here in Skye, but maybe first thing in the morning, if you get a morning where there's clear skies and you've got the sun rising to the sort of southeast over here, then maybe you can, if you get some gold light on that Kilt Rock, it might look nice. But other than that, it's probably not, from a photographic perspective anyway, somewhere that you should prioritise, in my opinion. But each to their own. Anyway, let's see where I can go and make use of some of this decent sky we've got going on. So a few people have been asking me on my social media if I'm staying in the van for the whole duration of this trip, which will be, by the time I leave, almost 7 days. And I was going to, but I did look at alternatives, given the fact that we're only in sort of late February, so sunset is about 5:20 at the moment, and sunrise is not until almost 8 o'clock. So I thought I'd look at alternatives, and it turns out that the price of hotels at the moment, because it's out of season, is so reasonable that I decided to book myself a base, just thinking that I wasn't sure of the area. I've never been here before, wasn't sure what the weather was going to be like, I wasn't sure how windy it was going to be, so thought just rather than be safe than sorry and have a base just in case. It would have been very long nights in a van if the weather had turned out to be rubbish for the whole time I've been here. So I booked myself into where I am now, which is called the Coolins Hill Hotel, which is in Portree, and it is absolutely spectacular. Its view across Portree Bay is absolutely stunning. I think you can probably see those coloured houses over the other side of the harbour. I think most people, when they come to Portree, that's something that's very recognisable for the area. Couldn't recommend this hotel more. I'm sure it's much more expensive in the summer than it is at the moment, because it is a really nice hotel. But yeah, just thought I'd let you know, guys, that I am based here and really recommend it should you ever come. So how mad is it that I've got the sunglasses on in the Isle of Skye, February 2022, when the rest of the UK is getting battered by storm after storm after storm. I think today is Storm Franklin or Frankie, I'm not sure. Haven't really kept any kind of an eye on the news. Anyway, I've come to do some waterfall photography at a place called Lilt Falls. I've got the name on the screen now. And actually sunny conditions are not great for waterfall photography, but it really shouldn't matter. If I just quickly flip you around, as you can see over there, there's a viewing platform, but obviously I don't want to look from there because that's above the waterfall. So what I'm going to try and do is figure out how I can get down there, and then we can take a photo from the bottom and we'll be in the complete shade, and therefore the sun won't make any difference and won't stop us getting a slightly longer exposure. Alright, let's head down. I'm a true believer that when it comes to waterfall photography, there is no right or wrong really. It's artistic impression. It's how long you want the exposure to last for in order to get that movement in the water, and the composition wise, it's really what's up to you, what your eye likes. A few things I like to do is to have the waterfall where possible to sort of 1/3 side of the image, so something called the rule of thirds, have that actual waterfall itself, just like I've got in the video now, on the third. And then I also like to have, turn you around, I'll also like the image to be led out to the other side by the water. So really what that's going to do is take your eye through the image and out the bottom, and it's just really about leading your eye through the image and taking your viewer of your image on a bit of a journey through what you're capturing. I'm shooting at the moment to the light because I want to get to an exposure of about 0.5 seconds. I think that's going to be a sweet spot for this place in terms of showing that movement but not creaming it out too much. So I'll take the shot now and I'll show you what we got. So all done at that location. Going to head back up the little windy track up the side of the cliff now. So going to be taking care as I do that. I said earlier something along the lines of shooting to the light, and what I meant by that was figure out what shutter speed you want to capture in terms of getting the right amount of water and movement in the water that you want, and then set your ISO and your f-stop in accordance with that, your aperture in accordance with that. It's very sensible to have an aperture above f8 and probably something more towards f20, because usually what you're going to want is both the waterfall and the foreground to all be in focus, or sharp at least, and in order to do that you're going to have a high f-stop. So I would say priority order or order of doing things is figure out what shutter speed you want to get to create the image you want, set the f-stop of at least f11, and then just move your ISO either up or down to get that shutter speed that you require. Good morning. Appreciate you can't really see very much, but it is quite early. Back in the Curragh car park for the third time since I got onto Skye, and this time instead of heading north, I'm going to head south to a viewpoint that I've been probably most excited about coming to since coming to Skye. It's a composition that if I can get to it and it works, then I think it's going to be a picture that I'll print up and frame. It's pretty dangerous. I'm not sure how much video I'll do along the way, but I'll certainly try and make sure that you guys can see where we're going. See you in a bit. This view was absolutely breathtaking, easily one of the most incredible landscapes I've ever seen. I did have to wait a while for the light to come, but when it came, well, look at this. Getting to and photographing this view is something that I've been aspiring to ever since seeing it in a photography program last year. The sense of achievement was almost overwhelming and capped off an amazing 5 days on Skye. I hope you've enjoyed this second part of my visit to Skye, and if you have, please give the video a like, and if you haven't already done so, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as it's going to really help me as I try to grow this channel. See you on the next adventure.